back to another video. Today we shall be looking at how to create a Google Kubernetes Engine cluster, and we deploy a sample application to this cluster. So let's jump right into it. So yeah, so for this code lab, you can look at some overview here, telling you about Kubernetes and the environment, cluster orchestration with GKE, and some benefits of using GKE, that's running Kubernetes on Google Cloud. So load balancing, node pools, automatic scaling, automatic upgrades, node auto repair, logging, and monitoring. So I think we can get started with this lab. I'm going to click on the Start Lab button. Alright, so our resources have been provisioned. Let's copy the password and let's open our Google Cloud Console in an incognito window. This lab is going to be a very short one, so let's get on. Okay, some pre-setup, starting the lab, done with that. Activate Cloud Shell. Let's wait for this to, okay, agree. Okay, now we can activate Cloud Shell. Okay, terminal, Cloud Shell has been provisioned. Okay, yeah, here we are. So we can check our list the active accounts with this command, gcloud auth lists. Authorize. You can see the active accounts. And also we can check our project ID using this command, gcloud config list project. There we go. So let's set up a default compute zone. We can do that using gcloud config set compute/region. Then we select our region. So in this lab, we'll be using US Central 1A, US Central 1 for the region, and US Central 1A for the zone. So I'm just going to get that in, copy. There we go. Okay, updated property, that is fine. Let's also set the default compute zone. Okay, we're going to be working with US Central 1 B zone. Okay, that's updated. Next, let's create our Google Kubernetes Engine cluster. So a cluster consists of at least one cluster master machine and multiple worker machine called nodes. So, but in some cases you can have more than one master machine and multiple nodes as well. So let's create a cluster. So we have a note here, cluster names must start with a letter and end with an alphanumeric and cannot be longer than 40 characters. So we can create our cluster using the gcloud command, gcloud container clusters create. Then we specify with this flag machine type and this other flag for zone. And then we give the cluster a name, lab cluster. So this is the name of the cluster. So let's copy that command. It's advisable to type out these commands while you're going through these code labs, but to save on time, I'm just going to copy these commands to save time. So here we are, G-Cloud container clusters create dash dash machine type E2 medium. So we're working with the E2 series here. And yeah, zone, US Central 1B, and then the name of the cluster, lab cluster. So enter. So we can see the status here, creating cluster, lab cluster. Okay, here's our expected output. Yeah, so the master IP, which can give you access to the API server of the master node, and yeah, just in most cases when there's more than one master node, those master nodes are usually load balanced. So most likely this might be the IP address of the load balancer in case there is more than one master node. But in our case, I think we're having just one master node. So and then the worker nodes, we have three. Let's check for the status. It's going to take a while. While that is going on, we can go to our navigation menu and we select Kubernetes Engine and we click on clusters and we see what's going on. So you can also do this with a console, with the cloud console, but you know, the cloud shell, it's way faster. So as you can see, our cluster, lab cluster, is already created with 3 nodes, and everything is just being configured right now. So cluster is being deployed. Let's wait on that to finish up. Here, so you see we have 3 nodes and total memory of 12 gigabytes. We selected E2 medium machines. E2 medium machines come with 4 gigabytes of RAM. So, and if there are 3 of them, then that makes 12 gigabytes of memory total. Okay, we just need to give it some time, or we'll check on that later. So the next step, we need to get authentication credentials for the cluster. So after creating your cluster, you need authentication credentials to interact with it. So here's how we can get it. G-Cloud container clusters, get dash credentials, then you specify the name of the cluster, lab cluster. So let's copy that, and we have to wait for the status to update before we proceed. So let's just give it a moment. Um, if you're new to the channel, please, and if you're interested in this type of content, please make sure you drop a like on the video and please subscribe. Okay, we should be having yeah, we can see health check. Master is healthy. We should be having our cluster anytime soon. Okay, so after authenticating with the, after getting the authentication credentials for our cluster, then the next task is deploying an application to the cluster. So we're going to create a deployment here using a sample image. Yeah, so our sample image is it's in a container registry, so we're referencing a sample image from there. This is just a simple hello app. Let's check on our cluster. Yeah, sometimes this can take a while, but you just have to bear with it. Okay, there we go. So name lab cluster, location US Central 1B, IP address, master IP address, and also the version, master version, node version, number of nodes, and the status. So let's proceed. We had our command to get the credentials already, so I'll just paste that here. Gcloud container clusters get credentials lab cluster. So enter. So as you can see here, fetching cluster endpoint and auth data. So kube config entry generated for lab cluster. So Cloud Shell is going to take care of all of that. You don't need to worry about all of this. Authentication data has been fetched already, and you can now start executing your kubectl commands to control your cluster. Those commands go through the API server. That's how you interact with your Kubernetes cluster. So here we are. So yes, we have our progress updated already. That's fine. So the next, create new deployment. Okay, so we got our credentials. Now we can deploy our app. So to create a new deployment, the name of this deployment will be hello server. From the hello app container image, run the following kubectl create command. So here's what we are running. So this is just short for Kubernetes control. You're interacting with the control plane of the Kubernetes cluster. So kubectl create deployment. The name of the deployment is hello server. Then we reference the image which we want to use for our deployment using this flag -- image equals all of that. So let's copy that, hit enter. Okay, deployment.apps/hello server created. Nice. Let's check the logs. Let's see if we have anything special. Okay, as you can see, Kubernetes API service has been making some requests here, or getting some requests, which goes to the kube control manager. So you can see all interactions with the cluster is done through the API service or the API server. Okay, so next. Okay, we can check out our nodes. Okay, so let's go. We can check for our deployment progress. If we successfully created our deployment, yeah, and that is checked. Awesome. So to create a Kubernetes service, which is a Kubernetes resource that lets you expose your application to external traffic, run the following kubectl expose command. So let's expose our deployment using kubectl expose deployment, the name of the deployment hello server, and then we are exposing that using a load balancer on port 8080. So let's go back to our Cloud Shell and let's expose our deployment. So the deployment has been exposed. So yeah, port specifies the port that the container exposes. Type load balancer creates a compute engine load balancer for your container. So yes, so to inspect the hello service, run kubectl get. So let's run that and see if our load balancer is active or has been created. There we go. So As you can see, the load balancer has been created, but its external IP is pending. That's because we just launched that just a few seconds ago, but within a few seconds, this should be updated. So, okay, cluster IP, that's that, and then hello server. Here's our deployment type load balancer. So, yeah, let's repeat that command. Let's see if we have an external IP now for our hello server. Okay, there we go. We now have an external IP for our load balancer. That's the exposed deployment. Okay, so to view the application from your web browser, open a new tab and enter the following address, replacing the external IP with the external IP for hello server. So we get the external IP and then colon port 8080. So let's do that. Let's get this external IP. Sorry, we have to do colon 8080. Okay, there we go. So we can see our sample application, hello world. Okay, so let's check our progress. We're done with that. Okay, we have one last task, which is to clean up our resources. So okay, so let's delete the cluster. We can do that by using the gcloud command, gcloud container clusters delete, then we specify the name of the cluster. So let's copy that. So the following clusters will be deleted: lab cluster in US Central 1B. Do you want to continue? Yes. So immediately our cluster is deleted, then we shouldn't have access to the sample application we deployed. So let's go to clusters. Let's see. Okay, you can see the cluster is being deleted. So let's wait on that to finish. Okay, so after deleting the cluster, we check on our progress, and we should be done with this lab. It's taking a bit, but let's just refresh here. Yeah, still deleting. Yeah, lots of resources. That's like 3 virtual machines being deleted, and the load balancer as well. So we should have checked that on the compute engine. Yeah, you can see on the compute engine we have a couple of resources here being deleted. We have here GKE, lab cluster, default pool. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. These are the nodes which we had. The worker nodes from our cluster. So these are the nodes, you can still see them in compute engine. So nodes are just virtual machines. Let's go back to Kubernetes Engine. It's taken quite a while, but let's just give it a wait. Let's give it some more waiting time, and we should be done in a minute or so. Yeah, anyway, that's how you can deploy or you can create a Kubernetes cluster on Google Cloud and deploy a sample application. It's quite easy, and most of the work is managed for you by Google. You don't have to do lots of configurations on your own and lots of the stuff at the back. So GKE makes working with Kubernetes very simple, easy, I would say, and straightforward. So yeah, that's that for this lab. Let's wait for our cluster to complete deleting, and we end this video. This was a 45 minutes code lab, but you can end this in about 20 minutes or 15 minutes if fast enough. Just that most of the time is been taken during the creation and the deletion of the cluster. So yeah, deleting cluster, lab cluster, done. So we've done deleting our cluster. So as you can see, nothing is here. Cluster is gone, and if we check on this sample app, we shouldn't get anything. The application is gone. So yeah, nothing's there. So let's check our progress. All right, there we go. So yeah, we've come to the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe if you find this kind of content useful, and see you in the next one. Bye.